All right, let's get started. Hi, I'm Bill, and if this is the first time dropping into the Astro Vagabond channel, welcome. All right, so the purpose of this video is a little bit twofold. One purpose is fear not the N.I.N.A advanced sequencer, and the other purpose is really to share one of the reasons I made the decision to sell my ASIAir Plus devices and move everything over to Nighttime Imaging N Astronomy, a.k.a. N.I.N.A. And again, I just want to say the ASIAir platform is a great platform based upon what your needs are. But my needs were a little bit more than what the ZWO ASIAir platform could deliver. So let's bring N.I.N.A up here, and I'm on my Edge HD8 with my instance of N.I.N.A. So let's bring that up. And this is the advanced sequencer area, and I think as far as the fear not the advanced sequencer portion, you really just need to get in here and you really just kind of need to, or at least the way I learn is I just start moving stuff around and observing what happens, and those type of things. You know, I didn't even know how to save a template originally, or if I wanted to delete a template. I really didn't know. It was just a lot that I was unfamiliar with, but I don't want to say I forced myself, because I really wanted to get a good handle on the advanced sequencer because it afforded many values to me. Me being a traveler, you know, it's expensive for me to go out to a dark site location. Most of them are minimum 5-6 hours away from my home. That's the gas for my van and other things. So if I'm doing it in a campground, there's campground fees oftentimes. So it was very important when I did get out to a dark site and there was favorable weather that I was able to maximize the nighttime, that I could get a lot of work done, and I could make sure that I'm using every last moment of darkness to capture my data. So, you know, N.I.N.A was the place for me, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a couple of templates that I use that will give you an example of one value proposition that N.I.N.A affords me that the ASIAir could not. And I've set the groundwork that my needs, I'm not a backyard imager, I'm a traveler, and if I was in the backyard, maybe my decisions would have been a little bit different because of the convenience, low to no cost as far, no travel costs. But so let's bring into a template in. But if you look over here, you'll see I have, hopefully you can see this on the screen, but I have like one target night for narrowband plus stars. If I want to add RGB stars in, and in 2024 I am going to include RGB stars in all my images. I have some data left from 2023 that I haven't processed yet. Those will not necessarily have RGB stars. I think there are some techniques that you can do if you're working with narrowband stars to improve them, to make a little bit better. But in 2024 I'm going to shoot RGB stars for all my narrowband projects. And then I also have a one target night RGB loop sequence, and then I have the second target narrowband. So one thing I wanted to be able to do is, oftentimes there'll be a target I'm interested in, but it's not available for the whole night. I generally shoot anything above an altitude of 30 degrees. So maybe I start shooting the target in the beginning of the night, but maybe around 1 o'clock in the morning, that target drops below the 30-degree altitude. That's kind of my personal parameter for when I stop imaging. I know some people go 25 degrees, may even go lower, but that's just my personal standards. And again, I just want to say, this is a have it your way hobby. We all get to pick the standards that are right for us, and for me, it's 30 degrees. So I've got this gap of time from maybe 1 o'clock in the morning to 5 o'clock in the morning. I mean, I want to get work out of my telescope. So I can shoot a second target very easily using N.I.N.A, and I'll take maybe a brief tour of that too after I kind of work through the first template. So if we look into a one target night template, and what I'm showing you here is just the base of my sequence. I also have a template for Edge HD8 startup, and then I have Edge HD8 shutdown. And maybe in a future video I'll go into those, but it's just the things you do at the starting up, cooling your camera, those type of things, and then things you do in the, when you're end of the night, you want to warm your camera, you want to park your scope. This is what I love about N.I.N.A. You can drag and drop these different sequence containers into the major container and build what you need to have happen during the course of your night. But what I wanted to show you here, where I get a lot of value, I'm able to set loop conditions. So if I'm just shooting one target for the night, and I think this is the one target, yeah. When I get everything going and I get, my polar alignment and all that, and it's time to shoot the target, I want to shoot until astronomical dawn. Or actually, I should bring in a condition here. Let me do it right now. Let me bring in an instruction. I've been working my templates a little bit today, so we'll want another instruction here, and we'll say this is the loop until altitude below instruction I'm going to bring in, and I'm going to bring that in here. So what I want this sequence below that we'll get into, I want to keep shooting until astronomical dawn, and ignore right now these times because this is from last month. That has changed, but that will be populated in the next time I go out and everything's up and connected. So I want to go to astronomical dawn, and I want to go unless the target falls below 30-degree altitude. And really this is what I like about the loop, because I can set instruction set here where I switch to a filter. Now I'm chasing a little bit of an issue, so after I switch the filter, because my focuser has to move on a filter change, because I use filter offsets, and depending on how much backlash compensation I have set up in my focuser, I ran into a condition where upon the filter change, the focuser had not completed getting to the point it needed to be before it started to take the image or the next exposure. And so on the first exposure out of the two that I wanted to take, I had some elongation. And so far my troubleshooting indicates that I need to allow a little bit more time for my autofocuser to do what it needs to do upon a filter change. So when I go out in the January new moon, I'm going to work with the 10-second delay and see if I've removed that issue of the first frame of the two. See, I'm saying here, change the filter to red. I'm saying delay 10 seconds. And then I want you to take two exposures, 120 seconds long. Again, the red filter. I don't want you to dither. And then I want you to go to the next filter. And so it was happening before where I was shooting two, that first one had some elongation. So I'm still troubleshooting that. I tried stop guiding and then start guiding, but if you think about it, the way my Edge HD8 is set up, my guide scope and OAG is before my filter wheel, so a filter change really has nothing to do with my guide camera ability to maintain tracking of the guide star. So I'm just going to increase the delay, and then hopefully I'll start to work that delay down once I see how much I have to allow for the autofocuser to do what it's going to do. And you might want to hit the notification bell, because I will be moving to a different focuser for my Edge HD8 in 2024. Primalucci Lab, Isato, I think 2-inch low profile is what I hope to add to the image train later in the year. So again, I shoot, I move to the red filter, I delay, I take 2 120-second exposures, then I go to green, delay, then I shoot 2 120-second exposures, and then I go to blue and shoot, delay, and then shoot 2 120-second exposures, and then I dither. So this is, I'm using my ZWO ASI 533mm Pro camera. I'm comfortable shooting 2 exposures and then dithering. And what I can do with the loop is I can reduce the number of dithers per unit period of time, because I shoot the red filter 2, green filter 2, blue filter 2, and then I dither, and then this loop starts again. It falls through this loop again, and it'll fall through that loop until astronomical dawn, or until the target has dropped below 30 degrees. So I don't see any reason to be, fear not the N.I.N.A advanced sequencer. It can be your friend based upon what your needs are. Again, I'm a traveler. I need to get the most work I can out of darkness each and every time I go out. I mean, weather alone is a challenge, but when I do get out there, I really need to get a lot of work done during the course of the night. And this helps me significantly, and it cuts down on the number of dithers I need to do. That saves me a little bit of time. So this is just this is one value. And then briefly, let's just go in and let's see here. This is where things often fall apart in one of my videos, but say I want a startup sequence to add to my Edge HD8. I'll bring it up here, and now I've got my startup sequence. I start robocopy, I cool my camera, I unpark my scope. But if you see how you can just, once you have your templates set up, you can just drag them in to the appropriate places and build your sequence. And then since we've gotten this far, let's see what we can do down here. And where's my shutdown? So we'll bring that down here. And then here is my shutdown. And at the end of the night, I want a message sent to me via pushover. I'm still getting my pushover notifications to work, but at the end of the night, I'd like to get a message titled End of Night, and then a message that the sequence is shutting down so that I could be woken up. And I like to take my flats either in the early evening, kind of at dusk, I guess that's what you say, or immediately in the morning. I like to take my flats and flat darks to get my calibration frames out of the way, and then wait, give robocopy time to finish writing anything that I might be doing, so I have it wait for 120 seconds, and then I want it to warm the camera, and I set a minimum duration of 4 minutes, and then I want it to park scope. And now if I wanted to save this, I could come up here. Let's see if it's going to do it. Okay. I save each of the individual modules. Now, if I wanted to save this to run again, I would come down here and I'd save complete sequence, and I'd just call this, we'll just call this one sequence, and then I would save it, and I get a successful save. And then if I was shooting using this on one night, the next night I could just load that template, and it would be there for me. So okay, let's see if this. I'm still learning how to work within the advanced sequencer. So let's see what we have here. If we say save, and I'll just oh yeah, see, it wants to save the individual components. So basically, saving this whole thing as a JSON file now has saved this entire sequence for me. And then I guess I could build maybe a consolidated template that I haven't done yet. But so let's get this out of here. And let me just briefly bring in my second target with RGB stars. I don't know how we're doing on time. So here's my second target. So what I do here is, these boxes are empty because I will bring in from my target list targets that I have lined up for the night. So I would basically just bring this target into here, and it would drop in and put the RA and deck coordinates and all that. But I'm not going to do that for this demo. But the key thing here is, okay, wait. All right, so this is not the right example, so let's get out of here. Well, let me use this example here just to show you that this one here, I have a loop set up. I'm going to loop. Oh, no, this is the right example. So as a second target, what I need to do in advance is figure out when the first target is not going to be available anymore, when it's going to drop below 30 degrees altitude, or a point in time that I no longer want to image it. And then in this portion of the template, I set a wait for time. So the sequencer doesn't hit this second target and fall through until the time that I put in these fields here is reached. And then at that point in time, it would stop the first target, and then it would start to drop through this container and start this sequencing. And again, it would go until astronomical dawn, or until the second target dropped below 30 degrees. So, but this is just an example here if you want to shoot, or how I'm going to start shooting RGB stars for narrowband targets in 2024. I'm going to, again, I have HA S203, and then I have red, green, and blue. I take very short RGB star exposures at 30 seconds, but I'm going to take 3 of them at 30 seconds, 3, and then 2 of my HA at 180. So I think if we add this up, this is 180, that's 6, 12, 12, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. So that's about 22 and a half minutes before I do a dither. And again, I'm really a big fan of the loop. And this is one thing I could not do with the ASIAir. In the ASIAir, I had to kind of guess how long it was going to take for each dither, how many autofocuses were going to be done over the course of the night. I had to allow time in for the meridian flip. But moving into N.I.N.A, basically it just enables me to tell it, just shoot as long as it's dark. or the target is above 30 degrees altitude. I don't have to figure anything out in a sense. I need to identify what filters I want to use and what exposure length I want to use for each of the filters. You know, you'd have to do that in the ASIAir Plus as well. But I can also tell N.I.N.A to stop shooting the first target at a certain time and then just immediately move into a second target. And that is just very valuable to me, again, as a traveler, where it's expensive for me to get out to a site, and I want to try to get as much work out of the night as possible. All right, I have a couple of more reasons why N.I.N.A was the right solution for me as my needs changed, and therefore why I sold my ASIAir Plus devices. I'll do that in a follow-up video. If you have any questions or comments, let me know. I'd be happy to help you with your N.I.N.A advanced sequencer. If you're having challenges, don't hesitate to drop a comment or reach out to me via my Facebook group, Astro Vagabond and Friends on Facebook. I've even donated some of my time to a couple of people to set up a Google Meet so we could talk via Google Meet, and I could kind of show some examples. But fear not the advanced sequencer. Again, your needs are your needs, so you may not need the advanced sequencer, but if you're a curious person, you might find you can unlock a lot of value with the advanced sequencer that N.I.N.A has to offer. And you know, I'm going to do a couple more of these videos to kind of share other areas within N.I.N.A that I think offer more value than what the ASIAir platform can provide. But again, you need to be your own decision maker and choose the solution that's best for you. But it doesn't hurt to know what other solutions are out there that could potentially add value to you as your needs change. As a new imager, a new astrophotographer, I had a set of needs. But as I started to learn more and moved up from a refractor into a reflector, my needs changed. And probably not all that uncommon for many of you who start in this hobby. So anyway, all right, if you like this kind of content, please give it a thumbs up. As always, like, share, and subscribe. Tell your friend, share the video, whatever. Also, check out the video descriptions. If you want to buy me a cup of coffee, there's a link there where you can. I have a PayPal link if you want to help support the channel. No pressure, but if you were so inclined, I'd sure appreciate it. And Andy, thank you for buying me that cup of coffee. Much appreciated if you happen to see this video. Other than that, I hope you're looking forward to some good weather in January. It looks like I'm probably traveling as far as Arizona. Don't know that yet, but I will be going out this new moon period. Other than that, see you next time.